Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Commissar here, and today I have a StarCraft 2 1 vs 1 best of 3 series from the DreamHack group stages yet again for you, just like the last couple of times. And again, if you know the results of the tournament, they had no bearings on the overall results. So if you don't know this particular series results, well, the later stages of the tournament don't really reflect these results necessarily. As of course, with the 6-player groups, 3 players advancing from each group, the players tended to lose at least one series in the groups. Okay, so that being said and out of the way, Liquid HerO, you'll notice, is our red Protoss player spawning in the western side of the map, and in today's PvP on Antigua Shipyards, NaNiwa is our eastern side Protoss player. Okay, he is also in the blue colors. So, I've cast both these players recently, but for those of you who have not seen those casts, first of all, you may as well check them out. I forget who they were playing against, but all the series I've cast have been pretty cool of late. Recent results for NaNiwa, basically non-existent. You'll notice his last significant success was way back in the before time of 2011. Back in November 2011, in fact, where he won $20,000 from coming second at MLG Providence, and he won another few $1,000s from beating an ST 2-1 in the MLG Global Invitational Finals. So those are great results, but that was a year ago, and since then, what has there been from NaNiwa? He's been in Code S, yes. That's basically seen him regarded as the best foreigner in the world by many people, and also notice he's going double gas straight away, which is interesting for PvP. Normally it's not quite like that. But anyway, so the point is that NaNiwa in Code S was largely regarded as the best player outside of Korea for a little while, or at least the best Protoss outside of Korea for quite a while. He achieved round of 8, he achieved round of 32, then dropped out, and really, since being in Code S, he hasn't really achieved that much. So NaNiwa is certainly a strong player, always a force to be reckoned with, but at the moment he is still teamless, and he is not producing the results that he needs in order to sort of finance his lifestyle. So I'd almost fear for him a little bit. Well, he's probably popular enough that if worse comes to worse, he could stream all day and make a decent living out of that. So he's not going to be financially completely stuffed, but he's in a little bit of trouble in terms of needing another breakthrough in his StarCraft career, now that he's no longer in Code S. He is going for a Zealot first, which could basically be anything in this matchup. A lot of players do skip that first Zealot, go straight into Stalkers. We do see both players double gassing this game. The gas of NaNiwa obviously a lot earlier, already at 200 gas plus, than maxing the Stalker out of both players, as is typical. And what do I expect from these players? Well, apparently no 4 gates, as they are both going for this double gas. One thing that I personally like to do on this map, Antigua Shipyard works very well for it, due to its cliffs surrounding your bases on all sides, very easy to drop into, is War Prison play. A Mortal War Prison play is super exciting and super trendy at the moment on the ladder. Tons and tons of players like to do it all the time now. But you will notice that that will not work this game, as both players are going for what appear to be Blink-based builds, although NaNiwa, in saying that, they did save up a lot of gas earlier. He does have a higher gas count than HerO does. Or at least he has had more gas available. That may just be because he's making sentries. I was going to say he could potentially be going DTs, which would probably win him the game, seeing as HerO will have a pretty late robotics, it appears. But, in saying that, having gotten those sentries, suddenly things don't look the best for NaNiwa, because what are sentries going through against Blink Stalkers? Not that much. These sentries basically enable you to deflect any sort of 4-gate, any sort of early Immortal push, and beyond that, they're not particularly useful in the matchup overall. We do see an expansion out of NaNiwa, a very aggressive expansion at that, and there is actually the DT Shrine, so that is very interesting out of NaNiwa. It may do damage, although as any Blink build requires, a robotics is going to be on the way now for HerO, so observers will be out pretty quickly, as of course the only purpose of that robo is to get observers. Does that mean the DTs will do no damage? No, it doesn't. It may be that all observers are out of the base, but the important thing going on right now is at the bottom of the ramp, at the natural base of NaNiwa. HerO is pushing in here, and these sentries, again, are not going to do very much in this situation. One may be sniped in just a moment. The force field is good, though, and this one Zealot will be trapped, actually, between 2 force fields, one of them actually belonging to HerO himself, and NaNiwa getting a very nice save on those units. So that sentry and that zealot both surviving very, very narrowly. But that said, NaNiwa has a very low gateway count. The DTs will enable him to defend in the end, because there is no observer with this army just yet. But the cancel is going to be forced, and if the DTs are warped in at home, they'll be able to do no damage to the base of HerO, as he'll be prepared for it. The observer is also in production at this moment. You can see these sentries ended up being useful for the force fields, as they did help to defend that expansion. But again, the standing army of HerO is still quite a bit stronger than the standing army of NaNiwa. And NaNiwa does have a lot of minerals, but not enough gas to go into those DTs. And now suddenly the Stalkers have been allowed into the main base of NaNiwa. A bit of a mistake there by NaNiwa. And HerO is going to be basically wreaking havoc in the base of NaNiwa. You can see the force fields being used against NaNiwa. The probes are starting to fall. DTs are about to be warped in, you'd assume, because they really need to be. The money is there to warp in at least one DT right now. And oh my god, NaNiwa clicking and attacking his own Dark Shrine. He is crumbling under the pressure here. One DT is going to save him, but when players start making misclicks like that all over the place, you know they are struggling under the pressure of this game. And of course, PvP is one of the most stressful early games in the entirety of StarCraft. Now, of course, the Observer is here. This DT will no doubt be sniped almost instantly, you'd expect, but charge is done. It helps to counteract the blink a little bit, but oh, the force field there is brutal, and NaNiwa losing another couple of units very, very cheaply, still outnumbered, heavily in supply, still struggling to hold on for his life, and really, he is going to be so far behind, with HerO expanding behind of this, and it looks like, finally, HerO has made a mistake. Finally, he lost a couple of Stalkers, but having lost a couple of Stalkers, he is still in a good spot. Economy-wise, he is up by 12 Harvesters. The army supply also favors HerO, and you can see another Stalker going to go down, but you know, a couple of Zealots are going down in exchange for it. This is not inefficient at all by HerO. He is blink macroing quite nicely. His unit's been kept alive very well overall, and you can see hardly any Stalkers are dying. I mean, one goes down there, another one's about to go down. Yes, it does go down, but NaNiwa's whole army has just been demolished, and I think it's only a matter of time before NaNiwa crumbles here, because he has nothing new coming out. He can't afford Archons. A couple of Archons would help him a whole bunch, although they would be at range and potentially out microed, but then at least give him some time, give him something to hold on to. And in this period, HerO is so smart. It's ridiculous how clever he is. What he's doing is he's saying, okay, I can see what's in your base with my Observer. My Observer hasn't even been shot at. I know that you can't even afford to go Robo, so I'm just going to make a DT Shrine to finish you off. And even if that didn't work, HerO still has the economy to fall back on. So HerO is basically saying, I'm pretty much 90% going to kill you with this DT Shrine, if not with the Stalkers themselves, as the Stalkers appear to be dwindling in numbers with HerO investing on the macro back at home. And basically, if I don't kill you with the Stalkers, I kill you with the DTs. If I don't kill you with the DTs, I have an advantage in both tech and economy in the late game. So basically, NaNiwa is going to need a miracle if he has to come out on top. And of course, a big blunder out of HerO could potentially get NaNiwa back into this, but NaNiwa has no detection on the way anytime soon, going for a Templar Archives to try and dump his extra gas into a couple of Archons, and then probably push out. I'd assume he's going for an all-in play with a couple of Archons and charge lots, as that's super cheap and can be super powerful, but DT is now in the base of NaNiwa. To me, that says he's basically dead. As you know, he's pushing out right now, but even his army is being attacked by DTs, and NaNiwa leaves the game having noticed the DTs in his mineral line, and that is a very quick game number one, a very brilliantly executed game number one out of HerO, and it was partially a build order win, yes, in that the sentry opening, the expansion, did not work against that blink opening of HerO. But it was not just a build order win, it was also very strong micro out of HerO. A little bit of luck on the force fields of NaNiwa being used against him, and just general brilliance in terms of his ability to secure his lead, to get further ahead, and then to close out the game in style. So very well played by HerO. Of course, NaNiwa did have a plan of his own. His charge lot push would have been quite potent, had it not been for the Dark Templar switch of NaNiwa. Although realistically, HerO probably would have been able to get up enough units to counter it had he not been teching so hard towards those DTs. So that was a pretty cool game number one, a very one-sided game number one, but a very intense game. and the player who I prefer is actually in top, so I mean, that suits me just fine. I want to know what you guys think, because of course NaNiwa is the non-Korean, so he should probably be the guy I'm cheering for. I just kinda like HerO. Probably because he wears a liquid tag, and because he plays creatively very often. Because, yeah. To be honest, I don't really know his personality well enough to really say that I like him that much. I just kinda do. That happens a lot in StarCraft with me. Anyway, so I'll see you guys in game number 2 in just